Boom.
Welcome, everybody, to another great Off Lip Radio Show. Neil, we are on fire.
Yeah, 646.
646. That's a great number.
Yeah.
Tonight's another wonderful show because, we're in the election cycle now, and
You've now done more politics lately.
We have. And I've never really considered myself to be so political, but I love the fact that we share our stage with the people that are trying to make our community better.
Right.
And tonight I just want to zoom this in on everybody. Oh, by the way, welcome everybody on Santa Cruz Waves who's watching. We appreciate you. I know you could be doing other things, but you're here watching us tonight, so thank you very much. Tonight, Gail, that's a beautiful shot. Gail Pellerin.
Looks good, right?
Running for the 28th Assembly District.
Right.
A resident here of Santa Cruz. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
By the way, Neil and I are so not up to speed with the Assembly.
Not a clue.
What will you, if you win,
Yes.
what will be your job description at the Assembly? Let's just start with that.
Well, so the state assembly is made up of 80 different people who represent different districts in the state of California. And we just went through redistricting. Every 10 years, we get the census and everything gets redrawn. The lines get redrawn and the districts get renumbered to reflect equal number of citizens in each of those areas.
So not gerrymandering, it's actually...
There's actually an independent redistricting commission that will reapportion them so there'll be equal representation in each of those districts.
So of the 80 people, they'll have the same people in each district.
That's the goal. Yes.
Wow. And so
and they also look at communities of interest, compactness, and things like that as well.
Obviously, you have Santa Cruz, Los Gatos,
So,
Morgan
yes.
Hill. Actually, I saw a map.
There's a map.
There's
Yes,
a map. So
there's a map.
there is a map. Can we see that, Neil? Is that on there?
Yep.
There is a map of the district.
Whoa.
So basically, it's the Santa Cruz Harbor. So if you live on a boat, you're in the district. If you're not on the boat, then you're not in the district. And
really?
it takes you all the way north to the county line. So through Santa Cruz, and then it goes through Scotts Valley, San Lorenzo Valley, over the summit, and then it takes in Los Gatos, Montessorino, Willow Glen, Cambrian Park, Almond Valley, down to Morgan Hill. And then it pops back down cuts right through the Forest of Nicene Marks, down back to the harbor.
And did I hear you say earlier that no female has ever held this office?
So we, in Santa Cruz County, we have never elected a woman from Santa Cruz County to an office higher than countywide. So as county clerk, I held a countywide office, but we realized that we have never elected a woman from Santa Cruz County to a state office or federal office.
As county clerk, you're in charge of elections.
Yep.
You've done this for a while.
Yes.
How many years?
I was the chief elections official for 27 and a half years, county clerk from 2004 to 2020. And as county clerk, I'm also the commissioner of civil marriage.
Wow, so you married a bunch of people?
Yeah, that is the office of love and
Wow.
politics. It did not get any better than that.
Neil,
So-
I'm
Yeah.
ordained now.
Yeah.
Actually, during
Okay.
COVID, I married 3 people.
Really?
It was awesome.
I married like 300.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you definitely
I-
outdid me.
I was
None of them were me.
What? You didn't get me? No. Okay.
No.
Well, and I think I was the only county clerk's office open in the state at one point. So I had people from all over the state of California because, COVID hit and everything shut down and all these couples were planning to get married like that next weekend and all of a sudden everything got canceled.
Right.
So I was there for them and set up plexiglass over the weekend. We had hand sanitizer and online appointment system. Every half hour I had people coming in, disinfected after everybody came in and
My son.
Can I just say one thing? 27 years in charge of elections. What the hell makes you think you're gonna? That must have been. If you can go through that and smile and want to keep doing this, I'm proud of you. This is not.
Yeah. Well, and more than that, before I became county
an
clerk, I worked in the state assembly, so I could hit the ground running. So I worked for the Speaker's Office of Majority Services, where I basically monitored the floor operation, committees, bills going through the process, and managed the budget process. So I could hit the ground running in Sacramento. 35 years total of public service, and I want more.
Okay, so I just want to say I'm a little uneducated about you.
I think politics is an addiction.
Well, it sounds like an addiction, but I just want to say you have some great endorsements.
I do.
I did a little
Great.
research on you. So obviously, this is new. Your background is impressive. New to me. And now I understand why some really high-powered people are endorsing you.
We're going to
I'm honored and humbled to have the endorsements I have.
Can you tell us a few of the
Sure.
ones that
Well, we have U.S. Senator Alex Padilla has
Okay.
endorsed.
Jimmy Panetta?
Jimmy Panetta, Congress member Jimmy Panetta, and Anna Eshoo, who is amazing, and both of them are amazing congressional members. And I just got Secretary of State Dr. Shirley Weber last night. I was at a Close the Gap event over in Sacramento, and she's endorsed. And then I've got the entire County Board of Supervisors. I've got local officials, elected officials, community members, and I got folks over in Santa Clara County as well. So I've got support on both sides of it. So the district includes Santa Cruz County and then over to Santa Clara County, and I've got endorsements on both sides.
Question that I wanted to ask was that you're well known here, being in the public eye, but not known on the other side of the hill. How have you been able to combat that, or have you be able to take those people in?
Yeah, no, so I'm knocking on doors and I'm going to events and sending out mail and making phone calls and introducing myself to voters. And I love going door to door and knocking on doors and talking to people and hearing what their story is and what issues are important to them. And then I take that and...
See, if she came to the door, I'd answer the door, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a couple of dudes that have been in politics. They come to my door. You open the door?
You know, well, it
No.
depends. Sometimes there's a kid trying to sell candy and like.
Have you ever had someone running for office knock on your door?
I have not.
Actually, I have. Manu came through my neighborhood.
Okay, all right.
He
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, he did. Well, I live on the train tracks.
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
was a big part
And
of it.
he's
He
a
wanted
good
to know
walk,
what
yeah.
we thought about it, and,
Yeah.
and I gave it to him. But
That's what it's about, yeah.
And knocking on doors, what's the reception of that? It seems a little during COVID, a little different.
I knock and I stand back, so I give them space. And some people open the door and want to talk. Some people say, just leave your literature, I'll look at it later. And
Hey, what's your shtick? When you open the door, guy comes to the door, woman comes to the door, what's your shtick?
I say, hi, I'm Gail Pellerin. I'm a candidate running for the 28th Assembly District. Are you familiar with the race? And do you understand, what the district is now?
Right.
The lines have changed. And I talked to them. I said, I'd like to hear what your thoughts are about issues impacting you.
Can we get back to the job description?
Yes,
Yeah,
so we know there's 8. So the state legislature in total includes 80 state assembly members and 40 state senators. So Senator John Laird, another one who's endorsed me, and Assembly Member Mark Stone has endorsed me, and Assembly Member Robert Rivas, and lots of other of our Assembly members have endorsed. So 120 members total make up the state legislature, but on the Assembly side, you have 80, and their job is basically to pass laws impacting the state of California. So, and then they also deal with the budget, and they decide how the budget money is going to be spent. And much of the budget is locked in law as far as a certain percentage has to go to education. And, the state's right now looking at a very large surplus, and we're very restricted on how we can spend that surplus, and we need to be very cautious and prudent about how we spend that surplus. So,
Well, there's some big challenges with this state.
absolutely.
Water, one of them.
Water, housing,
Yeah.
mental health,
Fire.
fire.
Yeah.
This would be a lightning round. We can name that.
So-
name your crisis issue that we have.
I can understand, but you're aware of the stuff, the top 5 things need to be taken care of here. Are you aware? Is it different on the other side of the hill?
As I'm talking to people, there's a lot of similarities, and I know that people feel that summit is that dividing line, but there's a lot more that unites us than divides us. And so as I'm meeting and talking to voters over in Santa Clara County, their issues as well are housing, homelessness, climate change, and mental health and education. So they have a lot of the same priorities that we have over here. Over in Santa Cruz, I hear a lot more about sea level rise and some coastal protection issues. And then in Santa Clara County, I also hear a lot more about transportation, although there's plenty of issues here that we're dealing with in transportation and public safety. And so, it's pretty similar, actually,
Yeah.
very similar.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have other assembly members that are endorsing you, and you talk to them. Their districts have the same challenges. Is that something you can group up and try to help each other with?
That's always the plan. You want to work collaboratively, and sometimes you have people who are across the aisle. So we have, as somebody who's worked in a nonpartisan office, I've always done very well working with people of all the various different political parties. So I think if I were to be elected to state assembly, I would be able to work well with the folks who are registered Republican or independent.
It seems that this map of this area you're covering right here that you have to cover. It seems odd that you have to cover areas which are not used. That Santa Cruz is here, but Morgan Hill. I mean, when was the last time you were in Morgan Hill?
Recently.
Recently?
Well, yeah, no, I get over to Morgan Hill all the time.
But it seems like having to manage these areas which are not part of away from Santa Cruz County. It just seems like. Do you have time to get a handle on the issues that are in Morgan Hill? Do you have time to get a handle on the issues that are in Los Gatos or is it Gilroy too?
No, not Gilroy.
Okay.
Yeah,
But those areas too.
Absolutely, and I think every assembly district includes a geographic area that's not just a small area, because they're large. So, and many assembly districts include more than one county. And the 30th district, for example, the one that picks up at the harbor, goes all the way down to Oceano in San Luis Obispo. It's the coastal district. So it's 4 hours point to point. So this is actually really manageable. I've been driving around the district. It takes me back basically an hour to get to Morgan Hill. And it's all very doable. And like I said, I really enjoy getting out there, talking to people, talking to the city council members. I met with the city manager over in Morgan Hill to learn about the issues that's facing Morgan Hill. And just been meeting with different groups and organizations and doing lots of interviews with groups and organizations that are endorsing, like PORAC recently did an interview. I got an interview with CSEA tomorrow, and working with new CSC Democrats, young Democrats. I'm interviewing with them next week. So just getting out
You're
there.
hustling.
Working it every day.
It's election time. It's it's the Super Bowl of political careers right now. Is there life after assembly for you? Is that? Are you going to run for governor?
No. This is it. It's 2-year terms, and you can serve up to 12 years in the state assembly. So that there's term limits. So yes, I'm interested in running and interested in running for re-election if I were to get elected, and really want to make sure that I'm representing this district well. So we'll have a district office in both counties. We'll make sure we have office hours over in Morgan Hill. So you don't want people to feel neglected. And as county clerk, I always made it a priority that to be open, transparent, and to basically operate under a whatever it takes sort of philosophy of public service, to meet voters where they are. And things I did as county clerk, for example, are I commissioned a vote-mobile. I got a vote-mobile that was basically provided voting in neighborhoods. So I could drive it out to the CZU fire-ravaged area, and the survivors of the fire can come out and get a ballot. I parked it in front of convalescent homes so the residents could come out and get assistance with voting, and went to farmers markets and was in South County, the Summit, North County, like all over the county, making sure that voting was accessible to people.
Right.
So
your daughter, Emily,
yes,
she's one of the most memorable kids that I coached. And I coached 1,000 kids.
Soccer,
Harbor High. This was at Kirby, Shoreline.
Yeah.
The middle school up there on Mission Street, on Mission Hill.
well, you were a coach.
I was a coach. And she was one of the people that she was lazy.
She might be watching.
She was
That's
not
fine.
lazy. She was preoccupied.
She was preoccupied.
with
If you want the
studies.
ball, should have.
Dandelions on the soccer field.
Yeah, she was right. But when I heard that day that you lost your husband through death by suicide.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wrote something to you. I don't even remember. But that was
impactful. Yeah.
Impactful for like what she was going through. I mean,
Right.
imagine what you were going through, what she was going through as a kid.
Yeah.
And then how have you turned that around? How have you turned that around as a family, as she's
Right.
she endorsed you to go back out and kick some ass and
Yeah, she's
do this?
supportive. Yeah, no, it was November 19, 2018, after the November 2018 election, and my husband took his own life. And we were devastated. So my daughter and my son, my daughter was actually here because she was going to UC Davis, but the fires were so bad, the air quality was so bad, she actually came over and was staying here. And I was actually separated from my husband at the time, so we weren't living together. And so we got this horrific news, and we ended up having to send my sister down to get my son, who was at UCLA, and get him on the phone so we could let him know what happened. And it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, is
Yeah.
to tell my kids that their dad had died by his own hand.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about suicide, and it's still hard to talk about.
I bet.
But you know what? I did a lot of reading, a lot of studying about it. I had very different ideas about why someone would die this way, and I was wrong about it. It's not, you don't commit suicide. It's the same way you don't commit cancer. It's when people are really struggling with, they have lost hope, they've lost any idea of having a better life, and they've lost their fear of death, and they just are in an extremely dark place where they can't see any way out. So I actually went to hear a speaker early on, and they talked about putting your grief to work, and that really resonated with me. And so I became outspoken
Just
on
to become
suicide
busy,
prevention.
just to become busy and keep your mind occupied on other things.
No, but so I became outspoken on suicide awareness and prevention. So I've spoke before the board of supervisors. I spoke publicly through media outlets and news articles, constantly putting out the suicide hotline, which thank God we now have a simple number that's coming July 16. It's a federal number. It's 988. It's an alternative to 911. So if you're having a mental health crisis, instead of remembering that suicide hotline
Right.
number,
You
which
just-
is 7 digits or whatever, it's 988 that you can call for a suicide hotline mental health crisis, and you will get somebody answering your phone. And this is something that we're trying to work on the state level, and something I want to be a champion of when I get to Sacramento, is to work on mental health issues. Because after the last 2 years we've all had, I think we've all had our own experience with mental health, or maybe a loved one has had experience with mental health, and it's really lacking in funding and resources and workforce development. And so we have the number, so we got someone to call, but we still need someone to come and somewhere to go. And in Santa Cruz County, we have mobile mental health care. It's called MERT and MIRTI. MIRTI is for youth, and Mobile Emergency Response Team Youth, or without the youth. And they will be dispatched, but they have limited hours. So ultimately, we need to collect the data. We need to understand what the needs are. But I see a world where you got 24/7, 365 mobile
Right.
mental health care,
Right.
just like you have mobile emergency care for other issues. And then we need to have beds. We need to have places where people can go to get the care and services they need to get better and get back out there and live productive lives.
How do you use his energy every day?
I think of him every day, absolutely. And he would love the fact that I'm running for office. He was always very proud of the work I did as county clerk, and he would be alongside me working this, and he probably wouldn't walk precincts too well, but maybe. But definitely connecting me. And he worked in San Jose, so I do have a lot of connections over in San Jose, and I'm very used to going over there, and it brings up a lot of memories driving around and seeing places where we went to dinner, or places where we had gatherings for his office or something.
You were very popular as county clerk. Right? You were. You were a very popular county clerk, I think.
I did, yeah.
Right.
I like to help people and meet them where they are.
Are the jobs similar anyway?
Yeah, it's public service. It's basically, putting yourself aside and doing what's best for the whole, and working on making people's lives better through legislation, through budget allocations, through whatever means we have available, and district outreach. So when you have, I have a friend who had a baby and was trying to get her disability check, and was waiting for it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you could call your state assembly person, and they could call and try to expedite payment on these checks that are delayed. So that's the kind of thing I want to do. I want to help people make their lives better by making those phone calls, by doing whatever it takes to get them the services they need.
Individually, so you can call somebody can call you. If you're in the state assembly office, somebody can call you, and you can help them with a problem.
Yeah, that's your problem solving, creative problem solving sometimes, for sure.
Wow.
Well, you said something earlier that we just earlier discussed the election a little bit. How it was heated.
Yes.
This one?
And in the past
Oh,
presidential election.
We've had many that were heated.
Yes, a couple in a row.
Yeah.
But you said to me that it really struck a chord that you got some really evil messages and some people that were really upset, and you actually called them
Yeah, that was one thing that was nice about having the voter file, because if people called and didn't leave their number, if I had their name, I could look them up. I would drive to people's houses sometimes, and just understand what's making you so angry. What do you not like about this voting system? What do you think is happening here? And people who would call and would be angry about whatever we were doing, whatever voting system we were using, I'd invite them in and say, be a part of our team. If you care this much about democracy, I want you on our team. I want you here using your energy and your talents to make us better. I mean, that's what it's all.
Did people accept that? People accepted your invitation?
There were people that accepted my invitation. Yeah.
I think that's the best response, and that's the first time I've heard that response.
Yeah.
Ever. And I watch a lot of different media and information, and I've never heard anybody say, if you don't like what's happening, come change it.
Yeah.
Be a part of it.
Yeah.
And make it better.
Right.
It's just like telling people put the money where your mouth is. Too.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
I
just
mean, democracy works best when we involve everybody.
True.
We can't just be in our own little locked rooms and with people that think the way we think. We want to have diverse ideas and opinions coming together and get the most creative solutions that meet the needs of most of the people.
What's
Hopefully
changed?
everybody.
What's changed? The most significant change since you from now to the first day that you entered into politics. That you entered politics. What's the greatest change been?
Technology. Absolutely. I remember, I was actually working in the state assembly when they were adding computers, and at the time when
long ago?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. And if you wanted to do an amendment to a bill, it had to be in writing and typed up. And I remember being in a senator's office and they were cutting and pasting words and taping them on a piece of paper. And technology has certainly improved our efficiency and our ability to get things done quickly.
Yeah.
Will you be, if you win this election, obviously you resign as county?
I already retired.
She's already
retired.
So
Okay.
so this is something I planned for. So I've been working with local women's groups. One was called Breaking the Glass Ballot, and we worked closely with Close the Gap. And I'm a Close the Gap recruit, which is a statewide organization trying to get equity in the state legislature to make sure we have equal representation. And so we were having forums about encouraging women to run for office, and we realized that we had never elected a woman from Santa Cruz County to an office higher than countywide. And so I went out trying to recruit women, and as I talked to them, it kept coming back to, well, what about you? And then I talked to another woman, and she'd say, no, I'm not interested, but what about you? So I thought, okay, what about me? I guess I'm in a good position to do this, and I can't, encourage other people to do something I'm not willing to do myself.
Right.
So I thought, all right, I'm going to step in and lean in and do this. So I retired from county clerk in December 2020.
Got it.
And what it allowed me to do was really take some time to do things that I care deeply about. So I joined the NAMI board, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I've been working with Girls Inc., which is a wonderful organization helping girls find paths to success through healthcare and education that are age 8 to 16. And then working with Cabrillo College as well, this women's educational success group that provides emergency grants to students when they're basically at risk of dropping out because they don't have enough money to pay for books or pay for rent or whatever. So,
Gail, there's only 24 hours in a day.
I was going to just
Right?
say, like,
I'm like, she's exhausting me.
you are on a mission.
yeah, I think we can make the world a better place, and I think there's so many great organizations out there doing such important work. And, I want to be a part of that. I want to help. And so I've been doing that work. And then in January 2022, I talked to Mark Stone about, hey, I'm going to set up a committee and I'm going to get a website domain and some photos taken. And I'm going to be ready to launch a website in mid-March after filing close for 2022 because I didn't want anyone to think I was running against him. And so I started my campaign committee for 2024. I loaned it $7,500 and hired a consultant to help me do a website. And
What's the website?
Gail Pellerin for assembly.com.
That's right here.
Right there. Very
Gail
simple.
Pellerin?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And then of course on March 11th, I learned that was a deadline for filing, and I learned that Mark Stone was not going to be running for re-election. So I thought, well, I guess we're going to
you call him?
Go.
shift this into high gear and step up and do it. So
Did you call him?
He called
Really?
me. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
No wonder you have such powerful endorsements, because obviously your motivation is pretty pure. I think.
Yeah.
I feel like you You've put your time in. You've proven that you do this for the right reasons. And is it a 2-year? Is it a 4-year?
Two.
It's a
6-year?
It's a 2-year
a
term,
12-year?
and you can serve up to 12 years.
Yeah. Are you long term in this assembly?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in it to win it too. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my
Do
God.
you debate?
Because you wouldn't want to go up against Batista.
Will there be a debate? Do you debate for assembly?
We have had candidate forums. The other people running are very civil and nice and have great experience in different areas. And I do feel like I'm the most qualified with 35 years of public service in the state assembly and at the county level. And so I feel like I have the edge there. The Mercury News endorsed me. The Santa Cruz Sentinel endorsed me. Thank you very much for those endorsements.
Should we take this moment and endorse the camp?
Well, but we
I think
we
that would be
could.
great.
The Off the Lip Radio Show officially will endorse. Yeah,
There we
you
go.
got it. Yeah,
Okay.
well done.
I'll add it to the website tonight.
Yeah, but add it to the website. Well, I like the fact Sentinel given. I get that.
Yeah.
When you get the Mercury,
Yeah.
that is a giant demographic for the territory that you were saying earlier. Is like, how do you relate to these people?
Right.
Well, that's their media outlet.
Right. Well, and I think, and what the Mercury said about me, which I was very proud and honored and humbled to read and see, was that my dedication to mental health, to making things better here in the state of California, also the work I've done in voting rights, and democracy is at risk right now, not only in the area of voting rights, but women's reproductive rights, LGBTQ plus rights. Things are going haywire. I mean, the horrific incident that happened in Texas today was just. I mean, this has got to stop.
You told us earlier you cried today.
I broke down in tears. I'm gonna probably cry now. I mean, just
It's okay.
so many children just are not going home and going to bed tonight
No.
because some crazy 18-year-old had a gun that should have never had a weapon. And the thing is, we can prevent this. We can fix this. We just need to have badass leadership to make some very difficult decisions to basically make guns not as accessible as they are to people. And like we talked earlier today, last week with the incident in Buffalo, we knew when we saw that incident and read about it, we all felt, there's another one.
It goes back to Sandy Hook.
And there's going to be
Yeah,
another
it goes
one.
way
And
back.
there's going to be another one. I
Right.
mean, this is not going to end until we really get strong leadership to put an end to this insanity.
It's tough, and I have a thing with, like, when children are involved, it's just gut wrenching. It's because you're a parent, I'm a parent, you're a parent.
Yep.
If I fell over today, but if my kids fell over, they have so much more, and those poor kids have a future that they will not see. And it's so tough.
Yeah, it's
But
horrible.
you can only deal with what you have. You can only deal with what's here.
I know, and
Yeah.
and the advice that Mark Stone gave me on day one was focus on the things I can control.
Right.
And there's a lot happening in this election, and there's things coming in from people, and people could be so unkind, and I can't control that. I got to focus on.
What you talk about democracy becoming a problem.
Yes,
Or we're
yeah.
losing it. Democracy is becoming unkind.
Yeah,
Instead of being, hey, you vote this way, I vote
Right.
that way, and we shake each other's hands, right?
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't
we shake
happen,
each other's
yeah.
hand.
No.
Now it's a pissing match.
Yeah.
We got pissing match with multimillionaires like we had last week.
No,
right?
for sure. Well, and we're not going to talk about the
Yeah.
the D campaign here, but I will say one thing. I asked Mark Miller, right? Was that Mark?
Mark.
No, Mark.
Oh,
previous
Mark
week.
City, yeah.
Yeah, and I asked him. I said, "If you lose, will you lose graciously?"
He said,
Because I think that's what we've lost in politics.
I want to have a unity party after the June 7th election.
We're coming.
Come to sit by my fire pit, have a beer, a glass of wine. I love a shot of Fireball, and let's just let's be humans acting human, and
Right.
be compassionate, be kind, be respectful, be civil. That's where we need to get.
It kind of goes back to what Coach, youth sports. After the match, after the game, after the contest, you walk down, you shake hands, and say "good game."
We used to
And
play
I
rugby.
Do a little tunnel.
Yeah.
and the
When we
kids
play
can
rugby,
run
I play
through.
rugby, you
Yeah.
beat the shit out of the guy
But
in
after
front
the
of
game-
you. You shake a hand and you go down the pub
Right.
And you share a couple of beers with him.
And
that was it.
The politics that's lost a little bit of that
It's
now.
go-
You know?
There's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of division. There's a lot of my way or the highway, and that's not a path forward. That's not a world that we can sustain
It's
and
going
live
back.
in.
It's going back
and
to
thrive.
it's going back to the days of Henry VIII, when he just behead somebody,
Mm-hmm.
right? You just check off with their head, right?
Yeah.
We're going back to this way back.
Well,
in
it's,
history.
it's similar to what you were just saying about women's rights, election, what's going on in government is like, if in your heart you know something's right, but you can't vote because your party says no. And I feel like that's what we've lost in America. I always say vote for what's good for your grandkids, and I feel like we're missing a lot of that now. You know, that's the problem in America. It's not vote for what's best for your grandkids anymore.
Yeah. And and our grandkids are worried about what kind of planet we're going to leave them. And there's things we could do. The climate change is an existential crisis. We need to do really aggressive action now in the next few years to stop the carbon emissions, to stop the greenhouse gas emissions, and to turn our planet around so we can pass on a healthy planet to our grandchildren.
There's a radio show talk host down the street that just claims it's a cycle, and I'm like, wow,
Dude.
this is a long cycle, This,
No,
yeah,
it's not. I mean, climate change is real. The science definitely supports that, and John, Senator John Laird is a leader in this area. Mark Stone has been a leader in this area, and they're doing some aggressive bills this year to basically, make California continue to be a leader and take the urgent action we need to take. And even in reproductive rights, everyone's like, oh, we live in California, we're good. We're not good. There's actually 13 bills going through right now that would basically make it rock solid here in California, because things can change in an instant.
Right.
And your vote matters. I mean, look at how important your vote is.
Right.
And what kind of ramifications it has. Maybe not right in that election year, but maybe 4 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 25 years down the road, you're seeing the results of people who chose to stay home and not vote in elections.
Do you think the technology, you answered that question earlier, technology, but it also, what's losing kindness? Do you think back in the days where when those guys were in those offices and they're cutting, pasting and stuff like that, they were kind of like, there was, even if you were in the opposing party, it was a group.
Yeah.
It wasn't so Zoom meetings and so you're doing stuff from home, and there's no camaraderie anymore in politics.
Right.
Where you can just you just mouth off. I mean, TC and I did a couple of shows in Measure D. If he says something, I say something. I'm sure if you say something, you just get blasted.
Yeah.
I was threatened a couple times.
Yeah.
All I said is I wanted a garage door I could ride my bike out onto the train tracks.
Yeah.
Because I live on the train tracks. I was like, and I literally was threatened over it. I was like, okay, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we need to change? So what do we need to change in Santa Cruz? This is your town. I know I'm leaving out obviously the other part here. What do you need to change here?
Well, I definitely want to work toward getting those mental health services. The state basically kind of wiped their hands of it and turned it down to the local government. So our local governments have been struggling trying to develop mental health services. So that's now changing, and I think getting them the resources they need. Education. California is currently at the bottom third of per pupil spending on education. And that's the great equalizer. If we can get all of our children well educated, do early childhood education, do transitional education, invest in youth early, and make sure they have the mental health care services they need and catch things and screen them early, that's going to make a world of difference. And with this new budget, with the surplus, we're going to see California's per pupil spending go up to the top 10, and it's about time.
Well, I think it needs to happen. California is one of the biggest countries in the world. And,
Fifth largest economy, yeah.
And to see us struggle with mental health, and it makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that is one of our largest problems. It contributes to so much. It contributes to what has been happening in these terrible violent situations. A lot of it is mental health. So I applaud that.
Yeah.
And you experience this more than probably anybody can ever relate to. And honestly, Neil, I'm surprised you're still like so motivated and so gun-ho. I mean, it's to me, that's such a testament of your ability to do this job.
I care deeply about making sure people have all the tools they need to thrive. So, and I believe we can do that. I believe we can end homelessness. I believe that getting the money into the right hands to spend it the correct ways, we can change people's lives.
Do we have the money for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the surplus, I think that we got to be careful with the surplus. We got to some goes to education, some by law will go back to taxpayers, and then some will also, what we have to do is make sure some will go to a rainy day fund, but we also need to make sure that we're spending money not on long-term, like basically one-time projects. Like, what can we do? How can we get the most bang for our buck this one time? Because I worked in Sacramento when we had tough budget years, and I was working there when we didn't get paid for 3 months. And, so those days are real and those can come again. So we need to be fiscally prudent.
The homelessness situation, aren't there 40 services that the money's going to 40 different services?
Currently there's 9 state departments that administer 41 different homeless programs. And so I don't see that as being real efficient. So
Exactly. So how can we make that more efficient?
So, if I get elected, I'm going to be looking at that and finding a way to consolidate and making those programs more efficient and more responsive to the folks who are implementing them on the ground.
I kind of picture Gavin Newsom with that budget, kind of like drunk at 2 a.m. at Taco Bell. And he's like, I got the budget. Yeah, I got the budget. Let's buy some tacos. But would mental health and homeless be your? I mean, obviously we have environmental, water issues stuff, but that would be one of your strong suits if you're in the assembly.
Definitely, and more than that too is the housing shortage. So we live in this beautiful community where we have people who are teachers and first responders and maybe even primary care physicians can no longer afford to purchase a home in this area. So if we're going to have a community where people are going to be working, we also need to have a community where people can live and afford to live. So there's so much work we need to do on affordable housing, and Santa Cruz County is really turning and doing some great work in that area right now.
They are?
Yeah.
I feel like it's being able to save enough money to get housing, because
that's where the state can come
that's like the
in.
ADU. I know there's a push right now to make ADUs easier and the permitting process easier.
Yeah.
Because I think there's not more dirt, but there's tons of empty bedrooms.
Right, and that's Project Home Key was taking vacant hotel rooms and converting them to temporary housing for homeless. So that's a great program. And I think we need to be smart about where we're building. We need to build in, we need to do infill development. We need to do it near transit hubs. And we need to be smart about density. We need to be working with local governments to make sure that this works with the community. But everybody needs to step in and do their share. This isn't something that we can point at, well, that community's got to do it. I'm not doing it. So we got to be working together.
So you're a busy girl. What kind of fun do you have? You got to be having some fun. I mean,
I went for a lovely walk on West Cliff today. And I have an adorable dog named Darwin, who we haven't even talked about yet.
Darwin. Darwin's famous. Blow up Instagram.
Emily, you're not lazy. You were just, I didn't correct myself. You took your time.
Did you get a text message just now?
No, but she's probably like, that coach is a bastard. But no, she took her time, and she's one of the people that stood out for me.
Yeah.
So Darwin is your dog.
Darwin is my dog.
Yeah.
He was born on the 1-year anniversary of my husband's death, and I was not planning on getting a puppy, but it just so happened I got a puppy, and that was so I picked him up January 2020. So, and then of course I was like, well, I got a puppy now. So he went to work with me, and so he was in the office, and then of course COVID hit and everything shut down, and then we found a way to stay open, and Darwin continued to come to work with me. It was like Darwin and me in the county building and a few other people. Everyone else is pretty much working remotely or doing. The thing about county workers, I mean, they are incredible folks. They also, as a county worker, you are a disaster service worker. So as a county worker, you could get reassigned. And there were so many people who were working around the clock in, emergency services, in homeless shelters, at hotels, and just really, taking time away from their own family and taking care of their own needs and serving the people in this county. So I just want to do a shout out to Santa Cruz County employees. They're incredible.
Well, you also are like the expert at marrying people.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was married. I was actually married at the county.
How many
building.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But you're also how many people you married, don't you see?
I've married three. I'm ordained. Back of Rolling Stone magazine. There's
Yeah.
an ad you can get. But I was actually married at the county building.
Yeah.
Is that where you were doing
Yeah,
those?
when did you get married?
1989. Or
Okay.
19. No, I take it
You
back.
better get this right.
87.
Okay,
87.
so that was probably a judge that.
It was a judge.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So yeah, when I became county clerk and we started doing weddings, the judges were like, "Okay, good, you do weddings, we're out." So and we did a lot of creative things around weddings. We did Valentine's Day weddings. We did free weddings in the park, working with our parks department, and then when same-sex marriage was legalized the first time, we pulled out all the stops. We were working with Out in Our Faith and had tons of people who came and helped and volunteered and were checking people in and issuing licenses. And we had 3 simultaneous weddings going on every half hour with all these ordained volunteers that were coming and conducting weddings. And it was like the best day of my career. It was just so exciting. We had, rainbow roses and cupcakes and everybody had this amazing story about being together for so many decades, I mean, people were together 40 years, it's just incredible. And just the love that you felt, from the minute we opened our doors until we all collapsed at the end of the day. I mean, it was just such a beautiful day. So
It kills me. I have a gay daughter who's married.
Uh-huh.
It kills me to think that is a right that could be taken away.
Exactly, because it's based on the same privacy rules as Roe v. Wade. So that's on the chopping block. Contraception's on the chopping block. Interracial marriages are on the chopping block. So, it's like we're going back in time instead of moving forward.
Right.
And so we really need to fight. We need to get out there.
It's crazy to me. That honestly
Yeah,
makes me want to march.
yeah.
Because that is crazy to me. It's unbelievable.
And imagine, and this is basically the first time our highest court is going to take the right of a group of people and take it away.
Yeah.
I mean, that has never, ever before happened, and
Well, Clarence Thomas's wife is running that shit now. She's in charge.
it's so infuriating.
Jenny.
Yeah. Is she
Yeah.
watching? Watching.
Are you watching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
TC's coming to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, I feel so. We've worked way too hard as a country to enable people to have these rights,
And then take them away.
and to take them away is barbaric. So I vote.
Yeah.
I think if you're watching, you can never complain unless you vote.
Right.
And so
And that's another great equalizer.
yeah. Right.
Because your vote counts as equal as Gavin Newsom, right? I mean,
Right.
A homeless person who gets out there and vote. And I've worked with our homeless encampments. I used to go out there and register voters and make sure they had access to voting. And we parked our vote-mobile over at Housing Matters one day and made sure people got out there to vote. It's the great equalizer. Your vote counts equally to every other person.
If you think it doesn't, it does.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we go and Tricia Weber, our new county clerk. I mean, she's just a rock star, and she's working. I know her and her team are working hard, making sure June 7th comes off without a flaw.
Amazing. I just wanted to, while we had a chance, to put this back up.
Let's talk about her social media stuff.
Yeah,
Website.
the website, your social media. You can see that, folks, right there.
Website's what? Gail Pellerin.
It's Gail Pellerin for Assembly, all spelled out.com.
And you're on Facebook?
And I'm on Facebook. And we did some great videos too, working with a local videographer. And
Yeah, you did do some good videos.
yeah,
They're good. They're
Lost
very, very
Coast
well
Video.
done.
Yeah, they're great. And I think we're even on commercial. We even paid for our commercials on TV. So
Okay.
I haven't seen it myself. I hate watching myself.
Yeah, no,
I hate listening to
we-
myself. It's just
yeah.
like- But the momentum is building. There's a lot of excitement around this, and even like the day that I announced that I was running, one of the first jobs was to call all the elected officials in the district and let them know I'm running and could I get their endorsement. And I started calling the elected officials over in Santa Clara County, and I realized there's great assembly members and great senators in Santa Clara County. They're all men. There's not a single woman representing Santa Clara County at the state level. Congress, Anna Eshoo, awesome. Zoe Lofgren, incredible.
Right.
Yes, there's great women representing Santa Clara County at the federal level, but at the state level,
Nothing.
not a
So
one.
Okay.
that's Santa Cruz County as well.
Yep.
So this is a big first for you.
Yes, yeah, we're
I
gonna
mean-
shatter this glass ceiling.
Wow.
for
So
sure.
the party's going to be huge.
Yeah.
I think we've officially endorsed Gail.
Well,
right?
the party's not
yeah.
going to be till November. So
Right.
here's how things work. So the top 2 vote getters, June 7th, will go on to the runoff in November.
Got it.
And it doesn't matter what political party. So I'm on the ballot with 2 other Democrats and a Republican. So the top 2 vote getters will go on to November. So this isn't over June 7th, but I am going to spend June 8th in my pajamas all day.
Well, I also
Atta
feel
girl.
like it's going to be really tough for whoever opponent you have to check your credibility and your history and your dedication to the community. You know, like, what are they going to say? They can't.
Well,
And-
they can
and
make
that-
stuff up. People
Well,
do it all the time.
I'm just saying, the proof
Lies and
the
deceit
proof
are-
is in the pudding.
Yeah.
I wish you the best with this
Thank
project,
you.
and I really hope and know that you can make a change in this.
Thank
so
you.
yeah,
I
and
promise I will
just-
work hard. I will
she
never
just-
lose sight of the fact I work for you.
She did
And
interview
you.
a great job.
She did, and Neil, I just wanted to mention something. I think this is our first endorsement.
Oh, yeah, we haven't endorsed
We've
anybody
never
yet.
endorsed.
Never.
never.
Okay,
No.
so we'll put you at the top of the list.
And,
we never have.
we have literally had everybody on here.
I mean, Jimmy, we didn't.
Yeah,
we're not
we
showing
don't.
you, Jimmy.
And Jimmy's like a friend. Like
Yeah.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
we hug Jimmy when we see him.
Yeah.
We don't endorse Jimmy. No. Sorry, Jimmy. But
Maybe you
because-
should.
Well, no, we try to be not
Switzerland.
Yes, we try to be a
Yeah,
little Switzerland
yeah.
as you know, the media.
Right.
But I know that you'll do a great job.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And congrats to
Yeah.
your long history of being involved in our community, supporting the community, because I think we need more of that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why you are our choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, for the
And
that
20
means a lot to me.
Yeah.
She got my vote because of her daughter.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You're coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
You-
no
The,
one's
the
going.
Emily Chapin endorsement goes a
Every-
long way. Long way, for sure.
Can you plug your social media and website again?
So yeah, Gail Pellerin for Assembly.com. We are on Twitter and we are on Facebook, and I think we do some Instagram too, but haven't done
do?
TikTok yet. I need to get into the TikTok area and
Well-
do some dancing and singing, right?
And you said if somebody has a question or a concern, you will communicate.
Yes, yeah. So they can email me. It's Gail Pellerin for Assembly. So if you just do Gail at GailPellerinForAssembly.com, it will go to me. That one says info. Info goes to the campaign, and then they send it to me.
Okay.
But if you just change info to Gail, it goes to me.
Okay.
I appreciate that because I've made a few messages to local politicians, and it's so refreshing to get a response.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really cool.
You know what?
So that's great.
Make her a cup of tea. She'll come to your house.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, if you have a fireball at your house, she'll come to your house.
Oh, shot a fireball?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Gail, come on over. I gotta
It's
talk
like
to you.
Christmas in your mouth.
See, I don't know what this means.
Yeah.
But she got 310 stars.
Wow.
What does that mean
Stars?
on Facebook?
Okay.
310
I
stars.
have no
I
idea.
don't know what that means either, but
It's a lot.
we're a small show, so if you commented or sent us a question, we apologize for not getting back to you on that. But anybody who tuned in on Santa Cruz Waves, thank you. T Fox, right, Neil?
Yeah.
T Fox lets us use this great
Yeah.
platform. You can catch us on any podcast. We'll be on YouTube tomorrow. Just Google Off the Lip Radio Show. You can see all of our great
I got
shows.
a bunch of shows coming up, TC. Thursday night, the Palms, the Joint Chiefs thing.
Oh, nice. Joint Chiefs.
And by the way, Midtown Block Party's coming up June
Friday
3rd,
nights.
And
I got it on my calendar.
Gail's gonna come down.
That's my birthday, by the way.
Is it June
Yeah,
3rd?
June 3rd.
I'm
Yes,
not
it
sure
is.
for June
You're gonna have to
birthday.
come.
You are?
TC,
Oh,
you gotta-
wow.
She's gonna come down and make a little speech. You're gonna come
Okay,
down
yeah,
to-
okay. We'll toast a little fireball shot that
All right.
night.
Fireball shot. Bunch of shows coming up. Check out AlternateRadio.com for all the shows coming up on the Alternate Radio Show Facebook page.
Gail, congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
You're a good fighter, and I hope that you succeed. We wish you the best.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
endorse her.
We do. The Off the Lip Radio Show is endorsing Gail. So the
Be
28th
sure to
Assembly
vote
District.
that
yeah.
ballot
Our
or
first
vote in
endorsement.
person.
Our first endorsement. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night. And
you
most
next week.
importantly, please vote. Please vote.
Next week it's Amy and
Oh, the sex podcast show? Oh boy, my wife loves that one. All right, everybody, we'll see you next week. We're talking sex. Good night.